Is this the way you feel about your quality system? You feel buried, there's too many documents, you can't keep up with them. The last time you reviewed them, they were awful. Well, continuous process improvement systems can show you how to have a simple, effective ISO business management system by taking your many documents and taking them down to two document quality management system. So you're going, you're crazy. How can you do that? Well, it's very simple. In the 2015 ISO 9001 standard, they eliminated two keywords that have actually created all these piles of documents. And they are quality manual and procedures. The result of that is, yes, you have to document your system, and you have to do it using a process approach of inputs and outputs. So the result is one integrated quality management system manual if you have two or more standards that you're certified to, or it becomes one manual that just addresses that particular standard that you're certified to. This document includes all of the policies and procedures that you have previously documented in one place. The second key document is the Master Record Form Spreadsheet Workbook. That combines all of the required records from management review to internal audits to corrective actions to document list to vendor supplier, all in one document. And the objective is you have immediate visibility and you're not running around looking for documents everywhere. So let's talk about the process. The process is, first you need to get the ISO standard and understand what are the shells are. What is it you have to be compliant to? Second step is we have a standard integrated business management system template that actually outlines all the requirements, and then we have the inputs and the outputs and the responsibilities defined. The third thing, you have to review the client procedure. You have to make sure you understand what their requirements are. What are they doing to be in compliance with the standard? And the fourth step is to integrate those requirements into the procedure template. The last step is to update the master spreadsheet with all the information from the procedure and established processes. So here's an example. We're going to look at the requirement for control of documents. I'm looking at an integrated management system here. It's ISO 9001 and ISO 1345. Although ISO 9001 does not require a procedure, ISO 1345 does. The single document of policies and procedures meets the requirement of ISO 13485 because it says who's going to do it, what are they going to do it, and when are they going to do it, and who's responsible. Same thing with control of records. There's a requirement for procedure 1345, but not in 9001. Okay, once I go through and make sure, okay, I've got to pull up my template for 1345 and 9001, and in this case, this is just the second section on document control. All the items in red will be changed to reflect the company. So if you have a system where you have an actual new document process, you might say that the first input is a change request or a request form. But what we do is we actually go in here and put exactly what your process is and the input, the output from each step. So each one of these rows is a process. New document, document control, control of data, document formatting, internal, external review, document not approved. So this is designed to match what you already have. The next thing I do is I review the existing procedure. I highlight all of the key things that I need to be careful, be aware of. And then I start making notes. So in this case, they have a whole bunch of documents that are forms. So I made a little note there, okay, move all these documents into the master spreadsheet. Then I also looked, okay, I noticed that D002 is listed in two different descriptions. So I just made a note there for the company so that they would know that there's a problem there. Then it just kept going and looking at all the important things, such as the management team has full access to this, the documents, and the other employees have read-only access, that it's an electronic system, and that the documents are approved by the management team at the management review meeting. Again, requirement to maintain an obsoleted document is in 1345. And they also reference here change request form, different things that are going on. So I've highlighted all these things. Next thing I do is I pull up the flow diagram. This flow diagram starts off as a very standard flow diagram for document control. And so you can see that there are two lanes there, one for new or updated, and then one for after it's revised, what do you do? So you can see that from that procedure, I put down the D002 here in the document list worksheet. I've also referred to the management review for the approval, and then I put the change request number here. So I've customized this flow diagram to match their actual processes. From that point, I go to the actual table that has the inputs and the outputs. So you could see these are the procedure or the process. What are we doing? The steps. In here, I put down what the inputs are. In this case, D004 is an input for a new document. And then they have to log in their changes and planning on another document. The output from this part is a new change document approved and management's responsible for approving it. So step by step, we update this table to reflect the actual practices of that company. So it's tailored to your procedures. The last step is to update the master operations spreadsheet template. So you can see this is an example of the records. So if it's an integrated system, we put the one standard here, all the sections, and what the requirements are. And for the other one, same thing, all the sections, and then we put down whether the requirement for the various key requirements for 1345 in this case, they're not applicable for ISO 9001. At that point then, we fill in all of the records that are required as stated in the standard, and then we write down whether it's in the master spreadsheet or is it an electronic file or just where is it located, how is it indexed, and how long are we going to keep it. You can see down here, this worksheet has many different tabs. It's got master document lists, the records, the audit matrix and the report, the management review action items. All of these tabs are custom made to your company. Now you can see this is an example of taking their information and putting it into the template. And so I've got their quality manual, their document list, the manual's current, the list is obsolete, this part of the procedure is obsolete, who's responsible, when, if there's a change request, what is it, what is the change, why do we make the change, and the risk of the change. Now this form is tailored to each company and what they need to have in order to make things simple. So the whole intent is to integrate as many document control functions as possible into this master operation spreadsheet so that you reduce the number of forms. In this particular example, there were over 30 procedures and about 20 forms, and the procedures have all been consolidated into the policies and procedures document, and all the forms have been consolidated into the master spreadsheet. So, in conclusion, the simplified system takes you from being buried to simplicity. It's two documents. It's a management system policies and procedures document and a master record form spreadsheet workbook that is readily available. Just put it in your intranet or wherever it is, and you're not hunting for a lot of documents. And the best part is, if there's changes, you are only updating two documents.